This is Goku-san DBZ, and welcome back to a new edition of Video Game News. Now, just a heads up, I'm pre-recording this on Friday morning, though it won't be uploaded until Monday morning. Just so everything is fresh in my mind and my thoughts on things. First up, we have the announcement of a new line of Arcade 1-Up arcade machines. And if you're curious to music, you'll hear in the background is from the original Zone of the Enders. Uh, of Arcade 1-Ups, we have the announcement. First of the four new machines is Miss Pac-Man. And there's one other game that's going to be included with it on there. Then you have the first, actually, light shooter game done by Arcade 1-Ups. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a series, total 4 games of the series on the machine. It's called Big Buck Hunter. I know nothing about it. Number 3 is a digital pinball machine. More specifically, a Marvel pinball machine, which is interesting. I'm not exactly sure how a digital pinball machine's actually gonna work compared to a more traditional pinball machine. I have no clue. And last is by far the most important and biggest of the new Arcade 1-Ups, and that is from Capcom with Arcade 1-Up, X-Men vs. Street Fighter arcade machine. Now, this isn't going to be just that. They announced total 4 games are going to be on this arcade machine, which makes this a instant day one buy for me because of the lineup. The first is X-Men vs. Street Fighter, obviously. Second is going to be the original Marvel vs. Capcom on it. Some sort of like side-scrolling beat 'em up game, X-Men related. X-Men Mutants. I think it's like of Apocalypse or something. I forget. And the other one, believe it or not, this is going to make the second machine with this game on it, X-Men Children of the Atom, which you could already get in an arcade machine, which include a Punisher beat 'em up and, of course, Marvel superheroes. So, you'll be able to play Children of the Atom in this, in my opinion, a far superior lineup of games. So, Children of the Atom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes, and a X-Men beat 'em up game. That's actually quite impressive. So I'm gonna be curious. They have not released a price range yet. I'm gonna guess the pinball machine's probably gonna run 400 to 500 range is my guess. I'm hoping that the Marvel one, the X-Men vs. Street Fighter one, I'm hoping is no more than 300 at max. Crossing my fingers. Next up, we have some new release games. These, I don't know what in all platforms it's on, but these are ones that you can find in the Nintendo eShop with new releases. First, you have Demon Tier Plus. It is $9.99. Next, Lost Horizon 2. Normally, it's going to be $14.99, but it's actually part of the sale going on right now on eShop, and it's on sale half off, so $7.49. Pretty good deal. Then you have something called Pix Boy. It's $4.99. Project Warlock, which is $14.99. And last of ones, this is one I actually picked up myself for the Switch. It's on, but I know for a fact this is also on like PS4. I'm not sure if it's on Xbox and stuff. I'm definitely gonna assume it's on PC. It's called Evans Remains. It's only $6.99. It is a gorgeous looking indie platformer game, but it definitely has its own uniqueness to it. I think the art style is gorgeous. The colors are very vibrant. It definitely looks interesting, and I'm looking forward to playing it. I will probably do a review on it since I like to try to give equal opportunity when it comes to game reviews. I want to give indie games equal to AAA games. Next up, we have a Switch sale. These are just a few games that stood out to me. The first is spelled EQQO. It's normally $6. Interesting looking platformer. I'm actually thinking about maybe getting. Normally it's $6. It's on sale for $2. So that's definitely worth checking out, and the art in it is also really nice looking. Next, Cuphead is on sale. Normally $19.99. Cuphead is right now $14.99, $5 off. Next, you have Resident Evil 4 is on sale for $14.99. Resident Evil Remake is on sale for $12.89. Weird price. Next, not Marvel, Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Normally $59.99. It's on sale for $41.99. Next, you have Moonlighter, the radio game, not the like deluxe or anything, but the base game, which is normally $24.99, is on sale for $9.99. Uh, Firewatch is what I'm kind of interested in. It looks like it's basically a walking sim, but it actually looks really nice. Normally it's $19.99. It's on sale for $5.99. So that's not bad at all. $14 off. Next, you have Okami HD. It's on sale for $9.99. Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection is on sale for $19.99. Sega Genesis Classics is on sale for $11.99. Another interesting looking indie game called Golf Story is on sale for, or not on sale, but yeah, on sale, $7.49. The Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is on sale for $14.79, and that's a good deal because you're getting 12 Street Fighter games. I mean, all three of the Street Fighter Alpha games and all three of the Street Fighter 3 games all be able to play on the go. I think that definitely is more than a good deal. A Hat in Time is on sale, which of course I've already reviewed this game. I think it's a great one of the best indie games I've personally played, in my opinion, and one of the best 3D platformers or fun platformers I've played in a while. It's on sale for $20.99. Next is a game I've played back about 3 years ago. It's really good. It's more than worth the price. Submerged. It's a really cool post-apocalyptic world where basically the whole city is flooded by water. Um, Actually is an interesting game. It's on sale for $1.49. Next, Rad, which is a cool looking retro style indie game. It is $7.99. Ori and the Blind Forest is on sale for $13.99. Shape of the World is on sale for $4.99, and I've done a playthrough of that game. I really like the game. I enjoy the music, and I really enjoy just the art style. It is really nice looking. And last on of the list I mentioned, Brothers, A Tale, or rather, yeah, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is on sale for $10.49, though you can usually get it on sale for PS4 or Xbox One for like $5 or $6. But it's a good platformer puzzle type game. Okay, get on with the reason why I'm doing this early is my fresh thoughts on the lineup of some of the games and things announced for, of course, the PS4 reveal. Um, ones I mainly wrote down stuff that stood out to me personally, or stuff I think people would be interested in. The first of things I personally don't care about, but I know a lot of people love the series. We saw, of course, a trailer, and the graphics are insane looking, and that is Gran Turismo 7, which, frankly, I'm surprised we didn't get more than like one on the PS4, honestly. But that's a good game to have early in the next console lifespan. It makes sense to do a new Gran Turismo game because Gran Turismo for Sony is like Forza for Microsoft. I never really cared too much, but it's a true like racing simulator. If you want some real authentic gameplay wise to more real life, Gran Turismo or the more traditional Forza series are probably the two best in my opinion. Personally, I like Forza Horizon, but that's just me. Next, we saw a reveal of a game I'm actually really stoked for. after seeing I'm very curious about seeing more stuff on is a new Ratchet and Clank game. It has my interest, definitely. I'm very curious. Next, we see a reveal for a new Spider Man game, but this one's not going to revolve around Peter Parker like the previous one. So, I'm not sure whether or not this is going to add on to the story of the original Marvel Spider Man game on PS4, or if it's going to be like a separate side game or something till maybe Marvel Spider Man 2 or something, because the way things were set up in that game. Hard to say, but this one is going to revolve around Miles Morales. So it's Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales. So that'll be curious, though it'll probably be a long ways off before I get, because right now I'm still leaning more towards the Xbox Series X over PS5. But even then, I usually wait 1 to 2 years after consoles come out. But it definitely looks like it's going to be definite system seller in my opinion. Next, we have an interesting little indie game that looks like it takes place in more or less a mechanical age. I didn't see, like in the trailer or anything, any humans, just robots. And then it's called Stray, and basically, apparently, you're going to play as a cat. That's interesting, and I know there's a lot of cat lovers out there that will be thrilled about this game. I know specifically one of my friends, which would probably be wanting to buy just to play as a cat. Next, we have a game called a sci-fi third-person shooter called Returnal. I was getting a little bit of like Alien vibes from it myself, just from the heroine and just elements in it. Though it's definitely, I say, has me very curious. I'm curious to see more about this new IP. It definitely has my interest. Next, we have a new game called Sackboy. It's basically from the makers. It's like a branch off game from the New Little Big Planet. Just about that one character. So I could definitely see this is definitely probably a very good kids and family game. Next we have Destruction All Stars. Personally, it's a game that doesn't really catch my attention, but I'd say this game will probably be very big with esports crowds. I definitely see it becoming popular among esports. Me personally, definitely not my cup of tea, but it looks like a cross between Rocket League and like elements also with the way the people play. Kind of reminds me of Sunset Overdrive. It's kind of weird how it looks overall. But I can actually see it doing well, especially if it can do well among esports. I see it doing very well. Next up, this is one that really caught my attention personally. The announcement of a new little bit or a new Oddworld game. It's been quite a while since we've actually had a new installment to the Oddworld universe, and it's called Oddworld Soulstorm. It really has my interest personally because I'm a pretty big fan of the Oddworld series. Always have been. Ever since Abe's Odyssey, though I didn't super love Abe's Odyssey, but it got me interested in the series. Abe's Exodus is probably my personal favorite, though I have not actually played Muncher's Odyssey. I will say Oddworld Stranger's Wrath is really good. But I am very curious about to see more on this. Next, we have a game called Ghostwire Tokyo. It's a first-person game. It looks like it's going to have elements of horror mixed with action. So it actually has my interest. It definitely looks unique and stands out from the crowd of first-person shooter type games, and I appreciate that. A first-person viewpoint game that can stand out of the crowd. That is what I'm looking for. Games like, for instance, examples, Mirror's Edge, The Catalyst are perfect examples of when I like a game to actually be able to stand out from the rest. And I'm crossing my fingers for this Ghostwire Tokyo. Looks interesting. We got to see finally in-game gameplay for God's Fall. It looks interesting. Third-person action type game. I definitely could see myself probably enjoying it. Some of the combat kind of reminds me a bit of maybe like the more recent like God of War game, just from certain elements I saw in it. It definitely has me curious to see more. Um, Next, we have a game that really caught my eye. I love the art style. It's just gorgeous looking. It's called Solar Ash, and there was certain elements in the game that I was getting a bit of a Gravity Rush type feel. Maybe because one, the art style, and two, because I saw the character like walking or standing on like a wall sideways and stuff. That was really cool. And I'm crossing my fingers that maybe this will be like a new Gravity Rush game, though I still want a Gravity Rush 3. Next, we have a new Hitman game announced. Hitman 3. I don't really ever cared that much for the Hitman series, but I know there is a fan base for it, so I hope Hitman fans actually like it. I will say graphically, it is a little bit of a jump up, at least in the backgrounds and everything graphically. The characters and stuff, the people, graphics don't look any different from PS4. Um, Next, we have some other games caught my Death Loop looks interesting. A first-person action game, but the art style in it kind of was giving me a bit of like vibes from either games like uh, Bioshock, and also certain stuff in it was giving me also vibes from a game I personally really like called. Uh, Darn it. I hate when I forget names. Oh, We Happy Few. Next, we have an announcement of a new game. At first, it just said Village, and then it revealed Resident Evil 8. And at first, I was thinking, from some of the stuff I saw in the trailer, I was thinking, this is giving me an awful lot Resident Evil 4 vibes, because it looked like a European town. It's taking place, though it looks like also there's going to be werewolves in this game. Which, to be fair, fun fact, in the 90s there was a Resident Evil comic book that actually had like Jill coming head to head with actual uh, werewolves, though they don't mention if the werewolves were naturally supernatural or if they were some type like mutant experiment from Umbrella. So I'm not sure. I am definitely curious to see. And you can tell this is definitely a few years later. It looks like you're probably going to be again playing as the main character from Resident Evil 7. Plus, it's in first person again, like Resident Evil 7. I will be curious to see more about the new Resident Evil 8. Um, Towards the end, I'm saving the big thing for me last, but last big trailer, I think a big thing it is going to be console seller, Horizon Forbidden West, the new Horizon game. I definitely see it doing well. The first Horizon game had ended up selling between like 5 and 6 million copies. So this is going to be very big. Plus, it was cool getting to see like post-apocalyptic like remains of the Golden Gate Bridge and stuff. It's going to be very curious to see how it ends up. Um, Also, oh wait, we have something. I'm not sure how you say the name correctly. Kina or something like that. Uh, Bridge of Spirits. It looks very curious. There's certain stuff in it that reminded me a bit of Pikmin, one element. Then the combat and stuff was giving me a bit of like a Fable vibe, plus other stuff. I was getting vibes from different games with the gameplay, and it actually has me very curious. The biggest for me personally, though, I think this is something that I know a few people, including myself, they'd probably buy it, the console, just for this. And that is Resident Evil, or not Resident Evil, Demon Souls Remake. It doesn't look like a remaster, it looks like a flat out from the ground up complete remake. And it's going to be done, the remake's being done by the same studio that did the remake of Shadow of the Colossus, which ended up a superb, really good game. And I'm definitely going to be curious to see more on how that ends up personally. We'll see, but I will say I am happy to see Demon Souls finally getting a time to really shine. And crossing my fingers, but the graphics and stuff of the remake, it's just ridiculous looking. I'd say it's equal to Dark Souls 3 in graphics, if not maybe a bit better than Dark Souls 3. So it's definitely quite a jump up from the original Demon Souls, which still, in my opinion, is a great PS3 game. Last but not least mentioned, they announced a new headphones that are going to be released for the console. It's going to have like 3D sound and stuff to it, way better sound quality. And the announcement, there's going to be two different PS5 model consoles. There's going to be a regular standard PS5, and then they've announced a PS5 digital edition. So they decided to copy the Xbox One S all digital console, I guess, more or less. So if you don't like, for instance, physical media, if you don't care about just having all digital, you can always pick this, and I wouldn't be surprised if the digital model, like the Xbox One S, if they don't end up charging like $100 less for it. Because it's got a lot less parts that you're going to need, since you won't need the disk drive or anything like that. It's going to drastically decrease the price of production. So I foresee the digital version is going to be at least probably $50 to $100 cheaper than the regular model. But they still have yet to reveal the price tag on the PS5, unfortunately. So I guess we'll have to wait until a later date. I get it, it's a competition between them and Microsoft, because Microsoft wants them to reveal theirs so they can do like $100 undercut of the price of the console. Because unlike Sony, Microsoft can afford to spend a couple of $1 billion in profit loss in the beginning if it turns around and becomes big like the 360 did. So that remains to be seen how much longer it's going to be before either console will be release their price tags. We'll see on that. But anyways, this was video game news, a bit longer than average. I apologize for that. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on the PS5, some of the games that stand out to me, some of the games I'm more curious to see more about. But as I said, unfortunately, we still have yet to see the price tag. But I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe out there. I'll see you again. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel.